Okay.
Back track a lot of speed in the distance there as well. Very slowly, in fact, almost causing an accident there. Car stopped. No, in fact, we've got synchronised spinning. The driving there from everyone to make sure that we get through. Good evening everyone, welcome to FGM Cast presenting the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. We are live from Road America tonight, one of my favourite places in the world to go car racing. I'm joined tonight by a much recovered Carl Withy. Carl, good evening.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having me back. Yes, a nasty bit of a throat infection has kept me out for a little bit of time, unfortunately, but it is nice to be back here in the booth, especially for Road America here in Wisconsin. One of the great tracks, of course, near Elkhart Lake.
I absolutely love coming here to race, going to watch. I've never watched live, unfortunately, but watching on YouTube and what have you, it is absolutely one of the best tracks in the world, in my opinion. And we're here tonight for a 70-minute enduro, our second mini-enduro of the season, and it will conclude this segment of the series. I've got some news to announce about the third segment coming up towards the end of the broadcast. Just a little teaser in there for you. Off the top here, we just have to thank all of the series partners, simrigs.com, Bridgestone Select, 93PC, HJ Plant Repairs, and of course our broadcast partners, AJ Insurance Services. If you have joined us on the stream tonight and you aren't already, we'd love it if you could give us a follow, particularly if you're watching on YouTube. Follow, turn on the notifications, ring the little bell, and make sure you don't miss out on any of the coverage coming up as our season starts to pick up again. Beyond this week, we are heading towards 4-day streaming again. Looking forward to doing that, but not until we get through this one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be it's getting back to business. A little bit of a break from Monday night, of course, but things are getting back to normal now, of course, and the schedule is starting to pick up again. Of course, tonight, nice long endurance race here at Road America. Very tricky track, of course, a track that is very easy to have yourself caught out on.
Yeah, so we just brought up here, thanks to 93PC, the round 8 even summary. So as I said, Road America, key points, that's last leg, 70-minute mini enduro here. The race to turn 3 on lap 1 is going to be a critical one. In fact, it's turn 5 on that one. We just got that one slightly wrong there. Turn 5 down the hill is going to be the challenging part of this one. Turn 1, as you all know, can be quite nasty as well. Depending on how forgiving the drivers want to be, they are going to have to keep an eye out for that one. And the other thing so far, Carl, we haven't seen a win from the Ferrari yet all season. And Joshua Fitt, the man on screen behind the overlay there, probably has been closest to coming up with a win, we thought. Maverick Benson, of course, also challenging at the front of the field.
Yeah, look, those Ferraris are looking very punchy tonight. They've had a little bit of a little reduction in the old BOP, the weight performance. They are now down to 0, so they are sort of on brand. You've got the BMW up there with 30 kilograms and the Mercedes with 25 kilograms in it, and that's going to affect you around Road America, of course. This place has got a lot of undulation and it's got a lot of corners that you have to brake downhill on, and a little bit of extra weight can really affect you in that respect.
Yeah, and I think part of that is indeed because of that man on screen there. In fact, the Batmobile number 4, Jeff Connell, has been almost unstoppable in that Mercedes-Benz. Of course, last week he did get pipped on fuel strategy. but he's been extraordinarily strong in that. Ross Rizzo really strong in the BMW. No extra penalty there for that car. It can't have any extra penalty. Oh, actually it can, but they haven't done that this week. So that'll make a few changes, particularly at a track like Road America where it's got a lot of open, long sections. BMW very strong in a straight line. We saw that at Mount Panorama early on in the season where it would just eat cars in a straight line. They're not going to have that advantage as much here, and that extra weight is going to be interesting on some of the long sweeping turns, particularly one that we're just coming up to now. I think it is turn 11 perhaps, but the long sweeper. So lots of interesting points to have a look at tonight as we get through this 70-minute mini-enduro.
Yeah, that's it. And as you said, Jeff Connell has just been almost unstoppable in that Merc. He has just been on point every race. But Joshua Fitt is looking good in this car tonight. He's been looking very fast out here. We saw him in practice session last night as well. Very, very quick in that. Just able to get some speed in that car. But it all depends on how you go over the race, of course. It's very well to be fast in a single lap in endurance racing, but you do need to have the speed and the capability to get the car through the race and get it through with as little stopping as possible if you can. Tonight we're going to see people possibly trying a 2-stop, but most likely 3 stops.
Yeah, and we the series of illustrators we talk about every week, so we might as well get it out of the way early here. Big fans of theirs. Not because they let us broadcast the series, of course. We're not swayed that simply, but they've done a fantastic job every week of not only getting these cars extraordinarily close together in terms of the ballast that they put on them to even out the speed between the cars, but also the fuel number. So we saw last week down to the milliliter, the guys ran out of fuel there, our top 3. Ross Rizzo, I think, might have got a little bit extra in there, but certainly Jeff Connell just making it home, and Matty Catalleone as well, just getting home by the scent of an oily rag. They've made some changes to the way they do the fuel through this race here, just to make it a little harder to fuel save to get to the end. So the usual topic of conversation in the latter part of the race is definitely fuel strategy. We've got some pretty clear ideas tonight on where we're expecting the guys to need to make stops and what numbers they're going to have to run to. So we'll keep those under our commentator's hat to build a little bit of days of our life suspense around this one tonight. But it's going to be really, really brave for anyone to try and run the number to the end. We think that it's going to be possible to do it, particularly because of how much fuel you can save around this track if you know where to do it and maintain lap speed. So we've got to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, that's it. It's all important. And we do have a new runner as well tonight. We have Super 2 driver Jordan Boys in the field tonight as well. So his first appearance out here tonight in the Aus Pro-Am Series, so be interesting to see how he goes. Rising star in the Super 2 Formula, getting a win this year at Mount Panorama, I think it was, in the early stages of the year. But it will be interesting to see how he goes, of course. Very different cars, very different field, of course, but we're going to go into qualifying.
We are indeed. As usual, we will jump on with a different car this week to give us a feature lap, Colin. I'm glad. You know, there's many things that get said about your commentary. Most of them are absolutely positive, but you have a really, really good knowledge of corner names at tracks, and it was something I was talking to one of our colleagues about the other day, behind the scenes, behind your ears, in all positive stead, that your knowledge of track corner names is far better than I think anyone that I've met, to be brutally honest. So glad you're back on board and able to run us through the lap this week. And we're going to jump on board with Aaron DeLuca this week. He's actually running the simrigs.com livery on his Ferrari. One of many cars in sim racing that runs simrigs.com. Obviously the sponsor of our qualifying as well. So give them the double spruik tonight, and we'll wait for Aaron to make his way around onto his first flying lap. So we'll just stick on board with him here for a little bit. But you just obviously lots and lots of time spent watching motorsport. Is that how you came to get the understanding, or is this bit of biff in the background there already? It's only qualifying.
Oh, these guys are really on it at the moment. Just before I get to the corners, really grouped up, and there is not much gap between the cars right now. That's going to make it really tricky out there. More so, like it's a long time watching motorsport. Luckily, I've been around motorsport for a long time. Also, track maps do help. Cough. But I always like to have track map with me, of course. But Exactly. It's just a thing of being in motorsport, or brown motorsport, all my life. It definitely helps out for remembering these things. Once we get to a place like Nordschleife or something like that's going to be a bit tricky. Definitely not going to say I can do that one. But we're coming up here to the end of the lap, and we're just about to come onto the main straight now, coming through this final corner. Very tricky final corner, very easy for the back end to step out here. Power down, up the front straight here. Big hill to climb up first of all as you come up to the start-finish line. We're going to go along the front straight, get a bit of a draft from the car in front of us as well. That's going to punch a nice big hole in the air for us, give us a nice opportunity coming down towards turn number 1 here. Very, very fast right-hander. Going to drop down to about 3rd gear here. Toss it into the corner, get on the curb nice and early, take a nice bit of curb on the exit, over this little hump, basically turn 2, even though it's not really a turn, into turn 3 here, down to the moraine straight. Turn 3, again, one of those corners that you can step out on and you can lose it on the exit. You tend to take a little bit of the dust as you go there, just to get that little bit of extra speed. Underneath the bridge here, down towards turn 5 we go. Again, there's another little corner along this straight that we don't really count. Going to be looking for around about 200 meter board, start braking, trail brake into the corner, left-hander here. Take a nice big amount of curb on the exit, up the hill, under the Corvette bridge into turn number 6. Braking, making sure to get this corner right. This is an important one to get right. Dropping down to around about 2nd gear sometimes. Car off to the right there. Into turn number 7 in the hurry downs. So going to go downhill now. Again, another downhill braking zone, around about the 200 meter board. Putting on the brakes, turning left into turn number 6. And into turn number 9, into the carousel now. Carousel, 9s and 10. So very, very sweeping right-hander. You're going to be going around here at about 3rd, 4th gear on the exit. Put your foot down again into the kink. The kink is very, very tricky. You can take it flat out, but you have to be very brave. Generally, you're going to want to lift, and you can just see there Aaron just losing a little bit of time as he goes a bit wide there. Doesn't quite make it through the corner. Up we come to the kettle bottom and the Canada corner, of course, being in Milwaukee, turn number 12. We are very close to Canada, of course. Through this little twisty section, through turn 13, up to turn... through turn number 14, and where am I? Up to turn 14, this final corner. Going to be turning in here, braking nice and late, getting through there, putting on the power just about right. You can see the pit entry on the right there. Very tricky pit entry as well here. You've got to be careful to get in there perfectly up the hill, and that is a lap of Road America.
Very well called, Carl. Thank you very much for taking us through there. You're on board with Aaron DeLuca as he took us on a lap around there. And I think he may have, he just got penalised there when he ran a little wide. It was something else that I meant to mention. It's very easy to run up penalties here for off tracks. The track's obviously fairly forgiving in terms of its width, but very easy, particularly through turns. Well, it's turns 1 and 2, but they turn at 1 and 3. You can see the 12 in the background there struggling, but easy to get off tracks at those 2 particular points, and through the fast right-hand sweeper that greets you along the back straight. 2 easy ones. Equally down here as well, if you run too wide, as we're just watching here with Aaron DeLuca, if you run too wide like that, you'll get a strike, and this lap equally will not count. So it's going to be a battle of the banker laps at this point in time. We've got 4 minutes to go, or 4.5 minutes to go. 2-minute average, 2:06 average lap time around here so far in the leading pack. So this opportunity and one more, and that will be it. As we start to have a look through the times here, Maverick Benson at 2:06.57, reflecting his good form at the moment. Joshua Fitt just behind him with a 2:06.69. Matty Cartaleone 2:06.78, and they are your provisional top 3 at the moment in the simrigs.com qualifying session here at Road America. We'll just jump through the field here. Thanks very much, Aaron, for taking us around. Andre Gardner, which is actually Andre Heimgartner, if for those of you who didn't know, he was just trying to let him be one of the boys, but he's quite happy to be named on the stream now. So this is Andre Heimgartner on board with now. He's done a 2:06.46 to jump his way up into provisional pole position in that bright orange Mercedes. Quite striking, but quite under the... what do we say, in disguise, I guess, with no liveries or anything like that on that one. Maybe we'll get one made up for him for next week. So just keeping an eye on Ross Rizzo. He's on his flying lap around at the moment in the BMW. He's actually we've got Mercedes, Ferrari, top 3, and then 2 BMWs, Riccardo Leone and Ross Rizzo. Adam Funslow's just moved his way up to 7. Or Jeff Connell, I was waiting to see where he was going to pop up. He's just jumped up into 5th place. Wow, look at the traffic he's stuck in now. Right at the moment, he is behind Liam Caplice in the number 20 Mercedes. He's currently sitting down in, it's Jason Bensko's pole position at the moment. So it moves my timing screen. I can't tell you where he is, but he's around about 12th at the moment. So one more lap, I reckon, for these runners. They may squeeze in a second one. The timing here is pretty strict. So once we get to the end of the qualifying 10-minute session, it'll cut you off no matter where you are on the track. Ross Rizzo's jumped into pit lane. So's Guy Leach. Dale Breed, leader of the AM Series, is jumped into pit lane. He's currently in position 18. And it is Jason Bentz, this man here in the red XCM Ferrari. So actually Dale Breed's teammate, currently on provisional pole position with a blistering 206.3. You did mention, Carl, that when you're watching practice, you saw times drop down into the 205s. So we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, look, track temperature is going to be a big thing here tonight because this track does get a little bit loose when it gets a little bit cooler. Currently, it's about 30-odd degrees out there for track temperature, 32 degrees at the moment track temperature, but it is going to get cooler through the night as well. So we could see the time start dropping a little bit as it starts rubbering up, as things start getting a little bit easier to drive. One thing I've got to mention, though, is that number of Ferraris up the top of the grid at the moment. There are many Ferraris up there, and that's something we haven't seen all year. A flock of Ferraris at the top. We've got, down to 5th place, we've only got one other car, and that is Andre Gardner in the Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty Carleone, the lead BMW. Jeff Connell in 7th in the Merc. But I can tell you, though, even though that's the case, the lap times we've got... Where are we? We've got a second covering 1st down to 16th position. So the timing is very close. Carleone and Connell are almost a dead heat. A 100th between Jordan Boys and Guy Leach. And at the front, it's also a dead heat basically between Timothy Auty, who's jumped up into 3rd position on board now, and Maverick Benson. So it's going to be about consistency here for the guys, avoiding early carnage. Definitely the case on cold tyres. They're going to have to watch out for that. The warm-up lap here may be the shortened warm-up lap. We'll keep an eye out on that, see where they grid up. If it is the shortened warm-up lap, they're only going to grid up on the back straight. If they get the benefit of the full track warm-up, then they may be a little bit better off at the start. But turn 1's going to be really hairy. We've got 30 cars on track, and they're going to have their wherewithal to understand and remember that it is a 70-minute race. There's plenty of time for them to do what they need to do. Timothy Auty is currently trying to jump or make his way up into the front row of the grid. We've also got Andre Heimgartner. I'm going to have to get out of that. Andre Heimgartner on a flying lap, as well as Maverick Benson. They're currently all sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, respectively. Matty Carleone's not going to get his lap finished, I don't think. We'll just see how forgiving it's going to be. Might give it an extra minute or 2 because of the track length. So Tim Auty comes through here, and he doesn't improve on his best time. We'll jump on here with Andre Heimgartner to see if he can improve. He's coming up the crest of the hill now. I think this one might work out a little bit better. It's going to be close. No, actually it's not. So at the moment he has made no change in his starting position. Who else is still there? Maverick Benson running around. He's pulled out of that lap. Matt Carleone, he's halfway around. I don't think he'll get that lap finished. And that will probably conclude our qualifying for this evening.
Yeah, interesting to see the variance in cars. You know, as I said, the BMW is looking a little bit troublesome out there tonight. If you've driven the BMWs before, you know they can be a little bit funny to drive sometimes. They're a little bit boat-like occasionally. They don't like to steer as much as the Mercedes and the Ferrari, of course. So they can be a little bit troublesome sometimes, as well as the GT4 variants as well. So they might be struggling a little bit with that extra little bit of weight. They've got that power, of course, and that's their big advantage. But that little bit of extra weight, especially here at a track where you've got a lot of very tricky corners, that you might just find they're struggling a little tiny bit for the short pace stint. But when it comes to the long pace, it will be interesting to see how they start coming up again. So once we get back to race pace, expect to see those BMWs start working their way up through the field and just creeping back up in there. And we'll see how those Ferraris do in their race pace as well. Will they be able to keep up the same speed that they have in qualifying?
Now, Ross Rizzo's put in a couple of green sectors here. We're getting a very, very generous conclusion to the qualifying period, but he's actually been able to go third. So last minute run for Ross Rizzo gets him third place. So we have a Ferrari, a Mercedes, and a BMW on the front row of the grid. That's impossible. We've got a 1, 2, 3 Ferrari, Mercedes, BMW as the top 3 of the grid at this point in time. So he's just come through and snatched that one right at the death and pushed Timothy Orti down into 4th place. So a great final lap there from Ross Rizzo. Would expect nothing less.
No, that could definitely be. We did see at Mount Panorama, of course, the BMW was very sluggish on warming up its tyres. So are we seeing a little bit of that here tonight, that the BMW just needs to go a couple of laps longer maybe just to get those tyres working for it, getting that speed up? Only a 10th between those guys. There is nothing between first and third really, so that's going to be a fantastic battle at the front, and there are 3 guys that are very, very quick as well. Jeff Connell down there in 8th position at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see how he fights his way back up as well, because he's looked almost unstoppable at many races this season. Just the last corner catching him out last time at Silverstone, really. But it's going to be an interesting race for sure. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. As we bring the starting grid up on the screen here for you. And thanks very much to simrigs.com for qualifying there. We've got the HJ Plant Repairs starting grid for you here, and it is Jason Benz who takes out pole position from Andre Heimgartner in second on the front row, Ferrari and Mercedes. We've got Ross Rizzo in the first of the BMWs, and then it is a trio of prancing horses with Timothy Orti, Maverick Benson and Joshua Fitt, my apologies, in sixth position. We've got Matty Carleone, Jeff Connell on row 4 with Jordan Boys, welcome to the series, and Guy Leach off row 5. Christopher Henn and Adam Funslow off row 6. Keep your eye out for those boys as they try to make their assault on the front runners. Paul Mansell, Luke Turner off row 7 with Tim Harris and Lachlan Capel off row 8. It's Daniel Webster and Liam Caplice off row 9 with Derek Orti and Dale Breed off row 10. Then followed by Sam Lehman and Shannon Fever off row 11 with Richard Brookfield, watch for him as well, a good consistent performer, and Mike Casey off row 12. And then as we flick through to the back of the grid, it is Phil Orti, Patrick Panton, followed by Aaron DeLuca, Hayden Jackson, Adam Wallen and Tim Mitchell to round out your HJ Plant Repairs grid for round 8 at Road America for the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series on FGM Ecast.
Yeah, a big thank you to all of those sponsors, and a big thank you, of course, to all of those that are viewing tonight. A big thank you to all of those that are watching, because we wouldn't be able to do this without you guys watching, of course. It really makes our life a lot easier in that respect. But Jason Ben's going to look good off the start here. Andre Heimgartner is going to be attacking, I imagine, that orange juicy beast there on the outside. So really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's jump out and have a look at the view of the field as they get set to head away on the formation lap. So I didn't get to talk about it there. Just quickly wanted to note, you would have seen at the end of that there, if you were watching qualifying, as we have a really, really short warm-up lap here. So we're going to go racing very quickly. The steep incline on the way into pit lane. Watch out for that one as the race gets started. A little bump there as well, a little bit upsetting for the cars on their way in. This is going to be one hell of a start as we get going. A very, very short warm-up lap indeed. And it's going to be go, go, go when the light drops. And there we go, off for 90 minutes. Adam Whelan already notifying as a crash, as it is Jason Benson, Andre Heimgartner even down into turn 1, and they're too wide. They're going to have to be really careful here on cold tyres. The Ferrari gets the preferred line down the inside, and so far so good. Everyone looking like they're making it through as we head down towards turn 2. A little bit of bump and shove in the back. They want to keep it clean. It's a 70-minute race. We've got plenty of time here to get things done, and it is Jason Benz leading away from Andre Heimgartner. Ross Rizzo in third position.
Yeah, Lachlan Capel getting caught out by Timothy Harris, I think it was. Timothy Harris just caught the inside of the grass and darted off into the side of Capel. Adam Whelan, as he said, he had an incident earlier on just on the start. He actually spun it up on the exit of the final turn there. And as we said, you've got to watch out turn 14. It's very easy to catch yourself out. So we've seen a couple of incidents early on in this one and a couple of people getting caught out on those cold tyres.
Yeah, absolutely, but it does look like a majority of the field got through, which is good here. As I said, a long race, plenty of time to make things your own. You just got to be a little bit patient and a little bit sensible. As Daniel Webster's just run a little bit wide down through, I couldn't quite see where that was, but Daniel Webster just running wide there, coming back on, no harm done.
Brookfield having a big crash towards the back of the grid. Huge moment for Brookfield. He lost the back end and a lot of cars got involved in that one, just going under the bridge there.
Looks like Timothy Orty, maybe Hayden Jackson as well involved in that one. We'll try and bring you a replay of that one where we can.
Yeah, so just down towards the, just down past turn 5, through turn 6, lost the rear end, and that was that, unfortunately. Big moment. That's that rear end of the big BMW swings around like a pendulum, and nothing anyone could do there, unfortunately.
Looks like there was another DPR car just spun around there as well, so I'm not quite sure.
Matty Carlione's just come into pit lane. Sorry, jump over your shirt. We've got a couple of early pitters, but Carlione has come in straight away. He's coming in very early, chucking some fuel on board on that car to try and get a little bit of jump, maybe a little bit of clean air. It's
Andre Heimgartner. Oh, Jesus.
How did he hold that one? That was a huge tank slapper there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's interesting strategy from Carlione here. That's a little early to be coming in. We're only on lap 2, so I'd say it's a lot early.
Yeah, the one thing I'd say about it is he's going to try and chuck as much fuel on board, try and get out into clean air and try and take advantage of some clean air running now. We've seen it before, just getting that little bit of the undercut effect when you're running in clean air. He did have a few cars around him, so he might be looking good later in the stint, of course, but this does rule out the opportunity of him doing just a 2-stint race. So he has basically locked himself in for coming into the pit lane 3 times tonight. So he's got to make another 2 stops. Will anybody roll the dice and try and make it into just a double stop race? So instead of coming through the pit lane 3 times, just coming through 2 times. Will anybody be able to do that? Of course, and that's the big question.
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye on Ross Rizzo for that. We've spoken about it a couple of times over the last few weeks. He seems to run around with a little bit of extra fuel in one of his boots and just manages to stretch the fuel out in that BMW better than just about anyone else. So he really is our yardstick as Heimgartner just closes up on the back of Jason Bentz here it's getting towards the end of lap 2. The track will cool as well, so expect the lap times to fall from where we are at the moment. As Andre just has a little bit of a sneaky peek down the inside there, just a little bit too far back, but probably just pointing out to Jason that he's right there, and he's certainly ready to rumble when he gets close enough. Again, just sticking the eye out there. Let's jump on board with him and just have a look at what he's saying, what he's trying to do here. So you're on board now with Andre Heimgartner. So we head down into turn 1, get a good perspective of the lines through here, and the relative pace of the Ferrari with that additional reduction, that's a double negative, is it? With the reduction anyway in ballast for that car this week, the Merc getting a little bit heavier as well with 10 extra kilos. So let's get a gauge on the straight line speed of these 2 cars as we head down towards turn 5 for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, one thing to watch out for, I've actually noticed it with Jason, is he's just getting a little bit of the rears just stepping out a little bit on him. He's just losing a little bit of grip on those rears. So a few of those corners, he's just had a little bit of a slide in the rear. He's had to make a little bit of counter correction through the corner, and that's given Andre Heimgartner the opportunity to get the run. When we saw him have that run beforehand, he made a little mistake going through Canada corner, just went a little bit wide. That backhand stepped out, and it gave Heimgartner the chance to get that run up through that little sort of kinky straight there up towards the final corner. So yeah, it's going to be, it is tricky out there, and these drivers are just still feeling the cars in. They're not quite settled yet. The temperature should be up to snuff on the tyres right about now, but you do sometimes get caught out here when you just get a little bit wide, or you just take a little bit of a different line through a corner. It can really catch you out quite quickly.
Absolutely there, and I was just having a little giggle to myself like a schoolboy when you said kinky straight, but that's okay. We'll get back on the straight and narrow with this one as we head through one of the best bits of the circuit. Just the very, very quick hold on for your dear life as you head up towards the end of the lap. Ferrari turned in there, that XCM livery just glistening in the sun, set as we get towards the twilight here. Looks like the Merc just gets out of that last corner a little bit better here. You can see, I know the draft obviously plays a factor as well, but just seems to close up a little bit there, getting out of that last corner. And again, Andre will stick his nose out there as he does, just to have another cheeky look, but not far enough up to get the job done down into turn 1. How do they call that a turn 2? That's not a turn. That is a turn, I guess, but it's part of turn 3. It all starts back there.
Have you ever driven an American car, Stuart? That's a corner in an American car. You know, for an American car, that's a heavy corner. But I was just looking through the field. We've got a few more people coming into pit lane. We've got Paul Mansell, Danny Webster, Mike Casey, and Dale Brigg coming into pit lane at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how Carlioni does when this all starts shaking out, when he's got some free air behind him. He's been setting some... I've not got times just as yet, so time-wise, he's not completely up there, of course, because he's got a full tank of fuel on board. These guys are running light, but he's not too far off the pace. He's only about a second off the pace at the moment, so he's setting some good times back there, as Ross Rizzo just has a bit of a blink there on my screen. Looks like everything's sorted itself out there for us, but it'll be interesting to see how this pans out for him, because of course he's not having to fight the traffic, he's not having to worry about guys in front of him. He can just run his own pace and just work his own race as we come up around as a track for another little bit of a loop. We're on board with Jeff Connell now in the beautiful black Batmobile. I think, or have I got the wrong person there? No, that's a BMW, isn't it? With Mike Camioni there, sorry. Saw a black car on the screen, made my assumption and got it wrong, as guaranteed there. But yeah, Carlioni's just running out there, just got a bit of free air. He's catching up to a couple of people, but it'll be interesting to see how he runs through this race, of course, and he's set himself in for the free stopper, so he's got his plan in his head. As we see the leaders coming in right now, there's a train of cars coming in on lap 4.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just jumping back through some of the other cars in the field there. So right down Adam Funslow, Jordan Boys, he's jumped in. Look at the up here. You've got to jump on the anchors uphill, and you can't even see the cones there. My goodness me, it is an absolute procession. Looks like the Shell service station when fuel drops below $1. If anyone on the broadcast is old enough to remember when fuel was less than $1, I certainly am. But Tim Mitchell is coming in as well. In fact, so right now we've basically got Adam Whelan, who is equally going to come in, and it's going to be Matty Carlioni, who is going to just mosey his way on through here, and we'll see how far up the field he's going to end up getting. But you can see a number of the leaders now on their way out. Of course, the exit is quite short here for them, so he will file out here. And how has this worked? It has worked extraordinarily well for him. The only car he is now behind is Ross Rizzo, and of course he has slightly less fuel than these guys. They will have been fueled up to the brim, and Matty Carlioni will be slightly quicker than them, so he was running in the 207s with a full tank of fuel. Expect to see that from the Ross Rizzo BMW in front of him, Jason Bentz, Andre Heimgartner, Maverick Benson, and the list goes on down throughout, as pretty much the entire field has now done their first stop. So this strategy's played out quite well for Carlioni, because he's up 4 positions from his qualifying position in 7th place.
Yeah, it definitely has. And what did I say at the start of the race? Watch out for the BMWs in their race pace, and watch out and see how they go. Maybe not the fastest in qualifying, but we've got BMW 1-2 at the moment up the front of the grid with Cardelloni and Ross Rizzo. So it's working out very well for them. We've got a Mercedes in fourth place with Andre Heimgartner and Jason Benz, the only Ferrari in the top four at the moment. With Maverick Benson in fifth, I think. So Maverick Benson's worked out pretty well for him, from what I can see. So we'll see how this all plays out. So yeah, it's an interesting little turn of events here, and it's they came in a little bit earlier than I expected. I expected to see maybe a couple of people try and get to lap 5. With only getting to lap 4, it might be a little bit tricky now. So they're going to have to do some mega saving to make it to the end of this race. Oh, you see there, Jason Benz, just a battle between Benz and Andre Heimgartner is really spicing up now. He is right over the back of Benz, really putting pressure on that Ferrari. Meanwhile, just Jeff Connell up into 6th place now as well, so it's worked out well for him. He's managed to work his way a little bit up the field, but yeah, Cardelloni has done a great job of that early pit stop has worked out quite well for him, but he has got 2 very fast cars right on his rear wing at the moment.
I was just enjoying in the chat there, everyone coming up and saying that, or a couple of guys coming up there and saying Andrew Dyson is not running tonight, and Adam Briggs just saying that everyone just got Rizzo'd, which is a very appropriate saying for for what just happened there with the fuel strategy. Rizzo there jumping up into the lead, so a good job from him. We'll continue to just jump back through the field here. We're on board with Mike Casey. He's currently our biggest mover. He's up 10 positions from 24th to 14th. And has done his pit stop, so that's an actual position. He did pit 1 lap earlier than everybody else. That's played in his favour, and he's obviously able to get out and get a clean lap in. He would have been down in the pack, battling away with the rest of the drivers. Daniel Webster doing a good job, 2:07.58, his first flying lap after stopping in one of the fastest on track at the moment, along with Paul Mansell, in fact, who is up into 12th position. He has just done the fastest lap of the full tank runners with a 2:06.95, so he is making good pace post pit stop. Also keeping an eye out for Richard Brookfield. He was involved in that very early spin on the first lap of the race. He is recovering well and actually up 3 places from starting position to 20th. And we'll keep filing down here. Phil Orty currently running down in 22nd. I think that's a new livery for Phil's car as well, the Simrig sponsored entry, but it's a quite striking looking thing, definitely away from the usual DPR white which you can see in the background there. So the white of Derek Orty, as Derek gets a little wide there but just manages to keep it. We'll keep going further back. Dale Breed is currently battling away. He's down in 23rd. He is the leader of the amateur class. And he's just having a mood put on him there by Aaron DeLuca. Just really cuts it off.
Front of the field quickly to Andre Heimgartner. There is a great battle as he tries to go down the inside here of Benz. He's going to try and make it work. He pushes his way through. Maverick Benson's right on the back of this fight, and he's going to try and get the pass done as well. Will Benson lose 2 places in 2 corners? He does. And now Jeff Connell is right on the back of him. They were neck and neck down the start-finish line there. Andre Heimgartner just positioning his car perfectly, and that just put Benz just in the worst place for that corner. Really cost him a lot of speed. He's going to try and find his way back now as they come downhill. Benson's gone down on the inside of Benson. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he is. You can see Jeff Goddard there really trying his luck as well. He is just pushing his car up there, trying to get into the mix right now. What a brilliant little bit of racing there.
That Merc looks really strong under brakes, actually. Connell there just closing right up onto the back of Maverick Benson through that little sequence as well. So he's very aggressive under brakes, just managing to pull it up, not quite to get the move done, but he has well and truly joined this battle for positions 3 through 6.
Yeah, what a fantastic battle, and this battle is just going to get more and more heated, I think. These guys are really running very similar pace, and I think Benson's going to want to try and get that position back. He did not feel happy about that pass, I think, getting caught. on the outside of turn number 1 really cost him through turns 3, and then he managed to get the positions back through turn 5. But what great driving there. One thing I did want to mention was with Ross Rizzo, he was about a second quicker in his pit stop. So his pit lane time was about a second quicker in his stop time. So I reckon he took a little bit less fuel than some of those guys around him, and he's just going to gamble a little bit as they get very close between Humgartner and Bentz there. So it's really fighting it out there. But yeah, Ross Rizzo took about a second less fuel on board than those guys around him. So I think he's working to the fuel numbers and just worked out that he only needs such an amount of fuel to get through this one. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, you got to have a think about the different strategies that might be at play here as well. These guys fighting out through 3rd into 6th position. You know, there's an opportunity here to save a little bit of fuel while they're in this battle, but keep up with the pack, and that can help them in that pit stop potentially make the jump if they do try the undercut when we come into our second round of stops, which we anticipate will probably be around the 30-minute to go mark or so. Of course, the drivers did pit a little earlier than we expected, so there's that play as well for these guys just sitting in this pack. They're not losing too much time as Heimgartner there gets really wide, gets the back to step out on that Mercedes-Benz. You can see him just off in the distance there, and he's being pressured by Jason Bentz in front of Maverick Benson. That battle continues to rage. So there is an opportunity here for the drivers who are a little bit further back in this battle pack to still maintain pace, save a little bit of fuel, and maybe do the undercut when we get to the next round of pit stops.
Yeah, and remember, Carleone's going to have to stop a lot shorter. He's going to stop a lot earlier, I should say, than the guys around him as well. So he's going to have to come in a good sort of 3 laps before those guys around him, I'd say. So when he comes in, it's a good outrigger for when those rest of those guys will come in. When he pits, then it'll be about 3 laps. Carleone makes a huge mistake going through the kink. He just got right on the grass, managed to catch the spin, but lost him a lot of time there, and that's given Heimgartner a chance to catch right up onto the back of that black BMW, the number 81.
We're just on board with Matty Carleone now. As you can see, the sun setting in the background. Track temperatures will continue to drop here at Road America. The 3rd position, I should say, Andre Heimgartner, number 7 car there. You're looking at him at the back. He's got Jason Bensel over the back of him, Maverick Benson, and Jeff Connell in this pack. There is hairlines between them at the moment as they're battling at the front here. We are keeping an eye throughout the rest of the field. Jump through that in a moment just to give you a bit more of a coverage of what's going on here. But it is very hot at the front here at Road America.
Yeah, there's a few battles going on through the pack. Aaron DeLuca and Dale Breed having a good little battle down in 23rd and 24th at the moment. DeLuca just ahead of Breed at the moment. But there are a few little battles going on through the pack. Paul Mansell and Jordan Boys having a good battle for 11th and 12th as well. Those two are very close together. Bit of BMW on Ferrari action as well. So that Ferrari does look mega down the straights as they go down there. It's a menacing looking car when it's in your mirror as well, because it is huge. When we talk about cars, that BMW is just a huge monster of a thing, especially when you look at it compared to a Ferrari. Just so much higher, so much bigger than that thing. But the fact that they are so close together on track, it's just a joy to watch.
I don't think Enzo would have had any problem in telling BMW that they make ugly cars when it comes to those things. We've all seen the memes of the BMW menacing down the hill. In fact, they also did it, I believe, with the Bentley in the GT series as well. So certainly a much bigger car than the Ferrari, not quite as beautiful as Enzo would probably say. But Paul Mansell, Adam Funzo here, as you say, battling away for 10th and 11th. Mike Casey now our biggest mover in the pack. He's up 10 positions in the Jägermeister orange entry, the 27, so he's currently running in 14th. Daniel Webster is trying to chase him down a little bit quicker at the moment, so that battle will continue to close up. The other one that I was looking at just before as well was, I've lost where he's gone. Oh, in fact, something must have happened here. Sam Lehman. Oh, yeah, wow. Something very big has happened to Sam Lehman. He was battling away up the pack, and that Mercedes-Benz very much symbolic of a crab at the moment. Plenty of damage on the 93 PC entry. He will bring that one into pit lane. That will not be aerodynamic, and it certainly is not steering straight with that left-hand front wheel pointing towards. In fact, he's struggling a little bit here. He'll do well to get it back to pit lane. So Sam Lehman will be in, and he will be trying to get some repairs done to that Mercedes-Benz. So that's a pity. He was battling away there. I think it was for around position 15th.
Yeah, he made a huge mistake down the Marine sweep, down into turn number 5. He caught the little bit of sand and gravel on the outside of the corner. Car caught it, spun around, and I think we're just going to jump to the replay here so you can see it coming down the hill right now. Catches that little bit of sand, spins around into the wall. Lucky not to collect the other car. Huge crash there, spinning right around. Managed to keep it going in the right direction in the end. Managed to find his bearings, but that car is pretty much toast.
Yeah, wow, he did actually really well there to get that back that far away to get that back.
Up at the front, sorry, we've got a change of position. Jason Bentz is in second place at the moment. They are fighting for position at the moment. Yeah, swabbing all over the back of them like this is a sprint race. They're forgetting that we have a lot more of this race to go.
Sorry about that there. I was a little bit behind, jumping on board now with Jason Bentz to show that he has moved up into second position here. Matty Cartaglione now under pressure from Andre Heimgartner, Maverick Benson lining up behind him, Jeff Connell. We're going to keep saying those names all night. The other thing that is happening in the background there is you can just see off in the distance Joshua Fitt. He's not too far away from joining this battle as Matty Cartaglione gets wide again down through the sweeper. This is going to open him up. He's going to have Andre Heimgartner down on the inside of him as they get down towards the turn, and he gets it done. Is Maverick Benson able to get through as well? No, just closed off there. But Andre Heimgartner now moves back up into fourth position. A little bit of a mistake there from Matty Cartaglione in the BMW, opening himself up to that pass. And you can see now Benson and Connell on it behind him as well. They want to get through. So it is on like Donkey Kong at the front here between Cartaglione, Benson and Connell. We've got Joshua Fitt joining the battle. Guy Leach jumping into this one as well. So this lead pack is opening right up.
Cartaglione just throwing a huge block down the straight there to Maverick Benson, who's going to try the outside line. Will he manage to make this one stick? He's got his nose ahead at the moment, braking late into that corner. He gets through and he manages to just squeeze it in front of Matty Cartaglione there. Fantastic move from Maverick Benson. Great job, and this has opened it up for Jeff Connell as well. Jeff Connell's going to want to have a bit of a poke as they come down towards turn number 5, I would say. So watch out for that move. We've seen Mercedes has got some good brakes on it, and it is quite good under braking as well, just late braking. So this is where Matty Cartaglione lost the position for Jason Bentz a lap earlier. Bentz managing to get underneath him and get through. Cartaglione just covers him off this time. Positions that car perfectly and just keeps it in the right spot. Jason Bentz, meanwhile, is just flying away from Andre Heimgartner. Just getting a good run away at the moment and trying to chase down the leader, Ross Rizzo. But there is a huge battle pack behind him of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 cars, 7 cars behind him in this massive battle pack now.
So I just noticed there as well, I know Matty obviously made that little bit of mistake on the last lap, but he was fuel saving down into the corner, and I'm wondering if that's why he's driving to a number and that's why he's getting lined up. He did pit very early, so I'm not sure that he's going to be able to save enough fuel from here to run it as a 2-stopper, but his last time around he was a second slower than the rest of the pack. So we'll jump back on board with him and see if he is fuel saving. I also wanted to do the same thing with Ross Rizzo here at the front to see if he's doing the same thing. We'll jump on to the back of the BMW as he heads down into turn 1 just to have a listen to see if he rolls out of the throttle early. It wouldn't surprise me if he does, as we know he's an expert at saving fuel. So no, absolutely not saving anything down there into turn 1. So he might be on it, deciding that he's going to run the 3-stop, and that's why he's trying to build the gap at the front.
Yeah, now we got Connell all over the back of Cardione again now. So Cardione is definitely struggling a little bit out there this time around. A little puff of the dust comes up as I think Maverick Benson just catches a little bit of the gravel. He is defending hard. By my numbers, we're probably going to see Cardione come in either this lap or the next lap as Jeff Connell makes a great move down the inside. The last of the late breakers there gets down past that BMW, gets through there and takes the position. You're going to see that Mercedes start running away now. As just behind them, you see Joshua Fitt losing position to Guy Leach as well. Guy Leach is on the move.
Yeah, absolutely doing a good job there. Carlione definitely rolled out of the throttle early there, which made Connell's job early.
Second, we've got Andy Heimgartner and Jason Bentz just battling it out now. It looks like Jason Bentz has made a bit of a mistake because he has lost a lot of time there, and he has really just got swallowed up by that Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the background as well, Jordan Boyes has moved up one position on Adam Funslow, so he's now running in position 11. But a couple of mistakes getting involved here. We've got less than 45 to go. Oh wow, it's Matty Carlione and Jeff Connell. Both make huge saves on the back straight there. That would have ended their nights if they hadn't done it. Just managing to keep things on the gravel after touching the grass. So it's just talking about mistakes coming into it, and there you go. Two of the best still making it errors in this race.
How did Jeff Connell save that car? That's going to be the question of the night.
Unbelievable.
That was a crash if I've ever seen one. As we see cars coming into pit lane, a couple of cars coming into pit lane, and indeed Carlione is coming in this time round.
Yeah, maybe realising that he's hemorrhaging a little bit too much time there trying to fuel save, abandoning the strategy. He's going to run the 3-stopper.
Yeah, Luke Turner as well coming in. Luke Turner, he had a relatively short time in the pit lane last time round, so not surprised to see him coming in as well. So it's now a question of Ross Rizzo of how long can he go. We saw these guys going around about 3 laps longer than Carlione last time round. So can they make it another 3 laps? I'd say it's going to be touch and go. I reckon we're going to see Ross Rizzo coming in around about 2 laps on this one, probably next lap or 2. So I reckon we might see him coming in a little bit earlier than the guys around him, just because that slightly shorter stop. I reckon he's got about a lap less fuel left inside of him. As
Gartner, Bentz, Benson and Connell continue on in this battle. Guy Leach not too far off, Joshua Fitt right behind them. We've got Paul Mansell, Jordan Boyes and Adam Funslow as your top 10 currently on track.
Yeah, I tell you what, this battle up the front is being very enjoyable from seconds down to around about 7th place at the moment. It has been neck and neck at times, and we've seen a couple of little mistakes here and there just catch a few people out. Jason Bentz, he just made a mistake when he got caught up. He made a mistake going through turn number 5. He just lost the rear a little bit. He went a little bit too tight across the corner, caught a little bit of the gravel, lost the back end, managed to save it, so that's where that time was lost for him. But at the moment, Ross Rizzo is doing a great job in the lead. He's got about a 3.5 second lead at the moment, but how much more fuel has he got left on board? That's the big question.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see anyone doing a 2-stopper from here. There'll be a few who might catch us out, but at this stage I can't see anyone doing a 2-stopper at the moment. I was just checking in as well. Looks like Sam Lehman did get back out on track, so he's used his fast repair up there to get the Merc all tidied up after he decided to do a little bit of plastic surgery on the front of that car. In fact, just down here into the turn, he caught the grass there, just moved out a little bit early, sorry, caught the gravel, and it did spear him off onto the infield fence, but he's back out running 25th, and he is still on the lead lap.
Yeah, those mechanics are fueled with a lot of Red Bull to get those cars fixed in that quicker time. But great job from the mechanics down there, the virtual mechanics doing an ever great job.
As Christopher Henn gets the move done here, sorry to cut you off, Christopher Henn gets the move done here on Adam Funslow in the battle for 9th and 10th. These guys have been battling away now for a number of laps, so good clean driving from both of them.
Yeah, some really good battles out on track we're seeing tonight, and Road America is one of those great courses where it encourages battles to happen. It's got those tight corners going into long straights, going into some faster corners. It just allows you to catch the car in front of you. It just brings us racing like this, and that's what we love to see. As we see Adam Funslow try to retake, so I was just watching Adam Funslow try to retake Christopher Henn, didn't quite make it work out, but there are so many battles going on, it's a bit hard to know where to look at the moment.
Yeah, we've jumped on board with Derek Audie, Liam Caplace and Aaron DeLuca, who are currently battling away for 14th, 15th and 16th. Currently not stopped. The lead car that has made a stop is Maverick Benson. He's currently running in 18th position, with Matty Carleone right behind him, along with Luke Turner and Timothy Auty as the first 4 drivers to have made that second stop. And we're expecting to see the leaders come in within the next couple of laps as well. So the field will reshuffle, will regroup, and watch for things to bunch up again. Just keeping an eye on Ross Rizzo and Andre Heimgartner. That gap has actually closed down to around about 2 seconds, and Andre has got Jason Bentz returning to close down on the back of him. That gap has closed down after that mistake, down to just under a second. So very much closing up at the front. As the leader comes in, Ross Rizzo has jumped into pit lane, so he is a lap earlier in than Andre Heimgartner. That follows the format of the first round of pit stops in this race, and Andre Heimgartner now leads, albeit potentially temporarily, as he does the fastest lap of the race on the lap that Ross Rizzo decides to pit in. So he is benefiting from the clean air and the light tank.
Yeah, this is it. This is where you can gain time. Of course, we do talk about the undercut, but the overcut is just as powerful, especially in endurance and GT racing, where you do have a much lighter car. So you can keep it out on track a little bit longer, you can go a little bit faster, and sometimes you can gain a good bit of position. You've also got nice, warm, sticky tyres on there. You've not been sat in the pit lane for a little bit of time, letting them cool down. So it does give you a little bit of an advantage out there. So it'll be interesting to see how they go from here. But Andre Heimgartner's got to really hustle that car along now and really put the pressure on to close up that gap a little bit. He's got to set another fast lap and hope that Ross Rizzo comes out into some sort of traffic just to slow him down a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's worked out that way.
No, Ross Rizzo, in fact, has come out in 13th position. He's got about 3.5 seconds of clean air in front of him, up to Aaron DeLuca. Maverick Benson's 2.5 seconds behind him, so he's come out in a field of his own, and he is just going to be able to do a quick lap or two while we wait to see when the second group of runners will jump into pit lane.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do from here. I'd imagine that we'll see these guys coming in this time round. That's sort of my quick scribbled down maths in my very, very hard to read notepad. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of people coming in this time around for that second pit stop, and Ross Rizzo will probably retake the lead from that one. Will anybody have been saving fuel in that little pack and just managed to go one lap longer and see what they can do? We'll find out as Andre Heimgartner does come in.
A little bit of a dummy.
Beautiful dummy, and Jeff Connell as well. He stayed out as well. So those three, those two guys are going to stick it out for one more lap. Just try get that one more lap of fuel out of the car, go a little bit longer, and see if they can reduce their pit stop times.
Interesting as well, because of course Andre Heimgartner and Jeff Connell both in the Mercedes, both stopping on lap 4 for their first pit stop. So we're talking earlier on about potentially the guys a little bit further back in the pack not having to push quite as hard to stay attached to that lead pack, and the fuel saving they might generate out of it. We know Jeff Connell great at saving fuel, and he's getting the benefit of that pack running right now. He's going to get an extra lap on the other guys in that lead pack, and that's going to serve him well when it comes to the final stop.
Yeah, it's really going to help them out because they have to take a little bit less fuel on board. They can save a little bit of time. It just gives you a few little extra options and things like that as well. Saw Jordan Boys as well. He stayed out. He's currently running up there in 3rd position, of course. He's not stopped yet. And Aaron DeLuca as well. He stayed out as well, I think. So a couple of people just staying out a little bit longer, managing to get a bit better of a run this time round. Managing to go a little bit longer. We're at about 12 laps on this stint, so they're managing to eke out a little bit more fuel than some of the other guys.
We'll stick on board with Jason Bentz here. Jason Bentz, Jeff Connell, we expect to see them into pit lane this time around. Jordan Boys the same as Aaron DeLuca. So Ross Rizzo has returned to the lead of the race technically as the first stopper. Gap there still around about 2 seconds back to Andre Heimgartner, Maverick Benson and Cohort. So
as contact between Benson and Gartner, and Andre Heimgartner there, up into turn number 6, unfortunately. Contact there, and that is really thrown a cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, absolutely, and Andre getting back onto track there, Maverick Benson, with the contact. So we'll jump back and have a quick look at that one, if we can get back far enough. As we can here, over the bridge in the braking zone. A little bit aggressive there, unfortunately, and that just getting the bump on. Not sure if they were on the same lap there, were they?
They were fighting for position, those two, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was a genuine fight for position, but a little bit too eager there, I'd say, from Maverick Benson, just trying for that position. It's not an easy spot to overtake in. The leaders have pitted, so Bence, Connell and Boys have come into pit lane. So they have come in this time round, so we'll see how this works out for them.
Expect to see Aaron DeLuca, peel off there. He's jumped in. So we get things back to normal as Ross Rizzo resumes the lead of the race with Guy Leach right behind him and Joshua Fitt now in third position. So this is the battle. Matty Cartaglione there, you can see just off the back of Joshua Fitt. And then a little bit of a gap back then to Luke Turner, who's about 3.5 seconds away from this pack. So things have spread a little bit through the pit stops. Matty Cartaglione there getting on the headlights just to let everyone know that he's still there. Matty, we can see you. And Guy Leach, Joshua Fitt battling away for positions 4 and 5 as we've just about completed our second tranche of pit stops. So 13 to 15 being that lap. So now having a look at this, depending on how much people can save fuel, we're expecting a pit stop to be required around about 10 minutes to go in this race. If you are running a 3-stop strategy, we believe everyone is doing that. So the fuel saving from here on in, every little bit you can do counts, because it means that little bit less you got to put in at that last stop, and it might make the difference between you finishing in, say, the top 3 and potentially dropping outside the top 10.
Yeah, look, it's going to be all important right now. Again, I was just looking at some stop times, and Ross Rizzo was one of the quicker stops out there. He took a little bit less fuel than some of the other guys, so I expect he's going to come in a little bit earlier than the rest, and just sort of come in a little bit earlier, get his tyres up to temperature when they get back out onto track, and just be that little bit quicker once he catches up to those guys. And that's been working out perfectly for him at the moment. He's got a 4-second gap over Jason Bence at the moment, so he's doing a great job out there, Ross Rizzo, and really hustling that car along.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just checking through some of the other timings. Liam Caplice here in 18th position. He's got Derek Audie right behind him. Shannon Fever just up the road in front of them as well. He's there with Richard Brookfield, Daniel Webster, and Mike Casey is our biggest mover so far of this evening.
Oh, Jason Bence has gone around going through the final corner, almost takes out Jeff Connell. They were neck and neck there. That was so close to a big accident for Connell as well. Bence has just caught the exit of the corner there and spun it. Just trying to look to see if Connell made it through unscathed. I think he did, but it was very close there. Connell is going to want to get a fresh pair of underwear, I think, from that one. That would have been a scary one. Yeah,
absolutely. That was very close indeed. We might just bring that one back up again and see if we can do it with on board with Jeff Connell. Just have a quick look at that. I forget about the Mercedes and its lovely roll bar that gets right in the way of the camera, so apologies for that one. Let's have a look at it from on board the cockpit there, and we didn't quite get that right. Back to live racing, but it was Jason Bence that went off track there. Unfortunately, he has recovered, and he's currently running in 11th position.
Yeah, it's a real shame. He's shown some really good speed tonight, but that little mistake just shows how easy it is to just have a race ruin it here at Road America. Just that tiny mistake, just a couple of millimeters to the left and right on those corner exits can really cost you, and cost you dearly.
So Joshua Fitt up into third position. He's up 3 places so far. Guy Leach, as we said before, in 4th. Matty Carleone 5th. We've got Luke Turner 6th, Maverick Benson 7th, Andre Heimgartner in 8th, with Paul Mansell in 9th, Jordan Boyes rounding out our top 10 at the end of our second round of pit stops. Thanks to simrigs.com, 93PC, Bridgestone Select, and of course HJ Plant Repairs for their assistance in getting this series on the airwaves. We've also got AJ Insurance Services to thank for that as well. You are at round 8 of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. Wow, I was off in the distance there. Jeff Connell just grabs a whole heap of dirt, and this is the second mini-enduro of season 3, and we are of course at the famous Road America as the twilight sets in on the track, and we've got 30 minutes to go here before we find out who's going to take home the bickies. Ross Rizzo looking really strong, expecting another round of pit stops from everyone, but he is a solid 6 seconds to the good at the front of this field.
Yeah, at the moment, Joshua Fitt is the one that's catching Jeff Connell. Those Ferraris are looking pretty spicy and pretty quick at the moment. Guy Leach just behind him as well. And then Carleone in 5th position as well, just trying to make up those positions again. So Carleone will probably find that he'll be trying to push that car along and just catching up to those guys, because he's going to be on a very similar stint now. But it is sort of backing up. There are a lot of cars that sort of top 8 positions, top 9 positions, I'd say, are barely separated by anything. There's about 5 seconds between 2nd and 9th at the moment, and you can really see it on track as they're going down the big hills. You can see all those cars in shot at the moment, as Andre Heimgartner doing a good job of recovery as well. He's just side by side at the moment. He's just gone up and actually caught the number 9 there of Luke Turner. He just caught Luke Turner in the same position he got caught out in earlier on, going through turn number 6.
Yeah, so plenty going on throughout this race. If you've just joined us, you've missed a close battle up at the front, but we are on board with the 2nd and 3rd positions at the moment. You can see Guy Leach, they're just off in the background. Matty Carleone keeping up. He pitted a little earlier than everyone else. Maverick Benson, he's battling away again with Andre Heimgartner. These two, a little bit of a beef to settle after Maverick was very aggressive under brakes. But they're back into the race and getting themselves together again as they get towards the tail end of lap 19 that we're currently on. So only 3/10 between them here. That Mercedes-Benz stronger through this section of the track than both the Ferrari and the BMW. So we've seen before there, Andre Heimgartner has closed up the gap here when being able to get a good run out of that final corner. The Ferrari there, I think that might have been Adam Whalen just moving off onto the inside. Indeed it was. So good job by him just getting out of the way and letting these lead runners come through. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. In fact, we've also got Luke Turner and Jason Bent still battling away down in 10th and 11th. We'll jump on board with that as Benson gets a little wide there. It's opened up the door for Heimgartner. He has a sniff, just not quite able to get down the inside. So they'll head on their way down towards turn 5, and he's got a good run here. The Ferrari just dropping a wheel off there as well. So let's see how this one plays out. So we jump on the front. Oh no, we jumped on the front of the wrong car. Andre Heimgartner will jump on front of him as he goes down the inside here. He's got a really good run on here, and he's going to get the job done. And I'm not sure there if that might have been a little bit of a return of favour from Maverick Benson there to let Gartner through, but he makes the way through there. They're still up battling up over under the bridge, and Gartner gets Andre Heimgartner gets the job done there and moves himself back up into 6th position. Now on the way to pursue Matty Carleone, currently running in 5th, and I don't think it'll be too long before we see him up on the back of him.
Yeah, this battle isn't over for sure. I'd say these guys are still going to be battling it out, I think, until the very end of the race, if they're on the same bit of track with each other. Very close between those two cars, and we've seen a little bit of incident there as well, and that always makes a little bit of blood boil inside of a car. You know, you have that little moment of just wanting to make sure you beat that vehicle that took you off the track. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Luke Turner and Jason Bentz as well, they're having to recover. Luke Turner did get caught. He got caught out a little bit by Andre Heimgartner going through turn 6 as well. He just got a little bit little bit squeezed out, not much contact at all. It was more of avoiding action, but he dropped down there just in front of Jason Bentz, who we saw have that big moment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just on board here with Adam Funslow as he still being harassed by Timothy Auty. So keeping an eye on this battle here. Everything else down through the field has sort of made its way into a reasonably static state as as Phil Auty and Christopher Henn keep their battle going. This is right down in 24th and 25th. Just to show you that everyone takes it seriously all the way down the field here, with nice close racing right the way down to the back of the field there. So good stuff from those guys.
Interestingly, Jason Bentz has come into pit lane, so he's coming in for his final stop. He's making it early, so he's going to be the car that is the first to stop effectively, the pole sitter. So we'll see how this works out for him. He's going to hope to get some clean air and just get some clean running and just hopefully jump a couple of cars when they make their final stops, of course.
Yeah,
Does mean he's going to have to sit in the pit lane for a little bit longer, of course, so he'll have to take on a bit more fuel than some of the other guys.
Yeah, I was just going to say that will fuel him to the end of the race, we expect. So he will, as you say, be trying to do the big undercut with 24 minutes to go. So he's got a little bit of time to make sure that pays dividend for him. We know he can be quick. We did see him down into the 5s in practice. He won't do that with a full tank, but with clean air, cool track, he should be able to put in some nice consistent lap times until he catches up to this lead pack again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out now. He's got to really try and get this working out because he lost a lot of positions, unfortunately. And we know he's got a fast car, but he's got quite a bit of traffic in front of him. As somebody spun, actually, just in front of him. I think it was Shannon
Favour. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just got to try and make his way through, but he's got some cleanish sort of air. It's a couple of cars lapped down in front of him, but he should hopefully start trying to make his way up the order and try and actually try and get back into a fairly good finishing position for himself.
As Maverick Benson jumps into pit lane, so he's equally trying the slightly longer final run. Daniel Webster as well has jumped in, so a couple of these guys are trying a little bit of an alternate strategy. They are R3 stopping, but trying to run that longer final stop.
Yeah, just trying something a little bit different, and there is no problem in that at all. As I said, the only thing that costs you coming in a little bit earlier like this is they have to put a bit more fuel in to get you to the end of the race. So that means you're gonna have to stay still a little bit longer than you'd want to. So that's the thing. The longer you can stay out, the less fuel you take on board, and that can be the difference of around about a second or two.
And Guy Leach, while we were just covering that, did manage to get past Joshua Fitt. So he has now moved himself up into third position in the Injectors Online entry. So he is in third position, Joshua Fitt now in fourth.
What a drive from Guy Leach, 7 positions up from his starting position as well. He started in 10th, he's up there in 4th at the moment. So great drive so far tonight, really showing good race pace.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is doing a great job to keep himself up the front there. So just got to keep himself in the in line, and he should be right here to contest the podium finish towards the end of the race. Joshua Fitt, of course, will not relent. One of the Ferraris that has been hunting a podium all season. So that battle will continue on. Both drivers running in the very, very low 7s or early 6s. So nice consistent pace between them as they start to get up towards some lap traffic here. Phil Auty just up in front of them there. And they'll make their way around him, hopefully without too much delay, as of course there is still the pursuit of Jeff Connell in second, and Ross Rizzo, who's way out on his own in first position at the moment.
Yeah, Ross Rizzo's got about a 4-second gap ahead of Connell at the moment. Well, 3.8-second gap, should say. So Connell doing a good job trying to keep pace, but just can't quite keep it there with the BMW, which seems to, as I said, better race pace at the moment than it did have qualifying pace. That car did not look as quick in qualifying, although Ross Rizzo did get it up into P3 at the end. But it looked like it needed a little bit longer out there just to get the tyres up to temperature, get everything working for it. So it's obviously a little bit trickier to get running in the early stages, but as soon as you've had it running for a couple of laps, then everything comes together for it. But that Ferrari is still looking good out there, still looking very well balanced. And as always, Jeff Connell just making that Mercedes just look so wonderful to drive and look so easy to drive as well.
Paul Mansell last time around, fastest lap on the track at 2:07.09, so lapping slightly faster than Andre Heimgartner in front of him. But the news is they are both lapping faster than everybody in front of them, positions 1 through 5. So they are closing on the leaders of this race, and after them it does drop away a little bit. Jordan Boy's still in the 2:07s with Luke Turner, and then everyone well and truly into the 8s and 9s beyond that.
Yeah, good job from those guys to keep putting the pressure on, of course. Just looking at laps at the moment, I'd probably say we're going to see Ross Rizzo coming into pit lane in about 1 or 2 laps time, I would say. So it won't be this time round, so we'll probably see him coming in. He might come in next time round or the lap after that, but he's going to be getting very close to his final stop. We're probably going to see Jeff Connell maybe go about
Matty
1 or 2.
Matty Carleone's jumped into pit lane, so he's jumping in to serve his final stop.
Yep, so one of those drivers that's able to just save lots and lots of fuel and do good jobs. It's not working as well for him tonight, but yeah, as I say, nobody was going to make that 2-stop work, I don't think. So it's going to be a free stopper for everybody here tonight. But what I was going to say is we're probably going to see Jeff Connell and Joshua Fitt stay out for maybe 1 or 2 laps longer. So we might see them just being out there for a little bit longer than people like Guy Leach and Ross Rizzo. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for them track position wise, because Jeff Connell is starting to eat away a little bit at that gap ahead of him and is catching to Ross Rizzo.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Ross just trying to save a little bit of fuel there to shorten the stop on that last lap. Of course, Jeff, as you said, saved that extra lap of fuel. He's just keeping pace with him a little, closing the gap a little, and a little quicker than Guy Leach behind him and Joshua Fitt. So these guys have got to watch out. Paul Mansell down into the 2:06s the last lap around, so he's flying, the fastest man on track at the moment. So he's closing the gap to Andre Heimgartner, and he is in turn Heimgartner is closing the gap to Joshua Fitt. So the gap at the front closing, and I reckon out of the pit stops we're going to have a good battle on our hands once again.
Yeah, it's going to get close as they come out of pit lane, and it's getting to that interesting stage of the night, of course. And as you can see, the sun is setting here now, and it's almost dropped behind the hill lines of Wisconsin. So it's going to start getting a little bit darker very soon. Oh, Jeff! Huge spin coming the final turn. Big accident for Connell.
Yeah, absolutely. He just spun around there again, that final corner, catching someone out, and this time it's Jeff Connell. He's got a bent back wing on that one. He's going to get eaten up here, going up the hill. That's Andre Heimgartner going past him, and Phil Orty is down the inside as well, but I reckon he'll make way. And that car O'Connell's with that bent wing, that's going to affect him. He will have a fast repair left though. He'll get that fixed up at his pit stop, but he won't want to pit early just to get that done, because he's going to lose that advantage he gained of saving the fuel for that extra lap. So he drops down into 5th place. Andre Heimgartner up into 4th. Paul Mansell not too far behind him either in 6th position. See him there just at the back of the screen there, or just at the right of your screen. And that is a lucky moment for Jeff Connell not to be out of the race.
I've got to say I'm surprised I didn't see him actually duck into pit lane from where he was, because he was right next to the pit entry there, so he could have actually come into pit lane and done that fast repair to get that car back to full glory. It's just how much he can drive around that damage now. If he can drive around that damage and still be quick, then he'll be okay. That's the thing. But obviously, any damage to one of these cars does tend to slow it down a little bit. So he's going to have to really start hustling that car to get it going. Really, that's really cost him.
Yeah, absolutely. Rizzo here, just a little slower than everyone behind him. He's on low fuel, so I think he might just be rolling out of things a little bit here, saving a little bit where he can, so that this last stop for him is going to be a little shorter. You'd expect to see him dipping down into the 206s now with a light tank, and he's not doing that. He's almost in the 208s. We know he's an expert at the fuel game, so I think he's probably running to a number here in this second stint, so that his final stop is going to be a little shorter, which, given the speed of his pit stops all night, where he has picked up a second basically at each pit stop, means he's going to only extend his lead if he does that. He's off into pit lane now, so we're going to get an answer to our question almost immediately. Guy Leach also jumps in to pit lane.
Question is now, how much longer can Joshua Fit keep it out there? And Jeff Connell as well, he's going to keep it out there as well. So will we be able to see them? Yes, and Humgartner as well, keeping it out there as well. So these guys are going to try and keep it out here for maybe one. They might be able to squeeze out 2 more laps, so they might be able to get an extra lap out of this. Be interesting to see. So they might just try and keep it out here for an extra couple of laps on this low fuel run, try and get a bit of speed in the car with that, and try and get a little bit of advantage on that lower tank, just so you can get a little bit more speed in the car. But it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. You've got to say Ross Rizzo is going to be still in the lead, I'd imagine, when the final pit stops shake their way out, but that gap is going to be a bit smaller.
Well, he's extended the gap to Guy Leach, who pitted at the same time as him. That gap has blown out to nearly 4 seconds, so he has picked up extra time in pit lane. His total pit time, just checking there, it's actually suggesting that his pit stop was 2 seconds longer than Guy Leach. This doesn't quite make sense with the numbers that we've got on the screen here, with that gap opening up. So just on board with Josh Fit, just to see if he is fuel saving or if he's running. At this stage, say he's running, so he is going to be in the next lap or 2 as well. Andre Heimgartner and Jeff Connell still to stop, so the gap between Connell and Rizzo at this stage is 27 seconds, so not enough for the pit lane transit, so you'd expect to see Rizzo jump out to a further lead when he comes back into the lead of this race after the pit stops.
Yeah, and it looks like we may have lost Jason Bentz as well. The pole sitter, unfortunately, has had to call it a night, I think. So something has come up for him, and that's actually take that car behind the wall, so that is unfortunate for him. Very fast car. Joshua Fit coming into pit lane along with Andre Heimgartner. Those two coming in. Jeff Connell is staying out there though, so we did say Jeff Connell's probably got quite a bit of fuel on board, so he's going to want to try and keep out there for as long as possible. If he didn't have that spin, this could have worked out perfectly for him, but what's the recovery going to be after that spin? That's the question. With that damaged wing, things like that, how many more positions can he gain? It's going to be interesting to see how this works out for Connell.
Of course, running in second up to the point where he had that spin, so every little bit he can save, and every second he can save in pit lane will move him back up the field. Of course, that little bit of damage you can see there on the rear wing occurred with a solo spin at the last corner. Just bumped the tyre wall there to get the damage on the back of the Batmobile, but he has continued on with it. It doesn't look like it's affected his speed too much in comparison to the rest of the pack. At the moment, Derek Orty fastest on track last lap around with a high 2:07, and in fact Timothy Orty has just bettered that and done a 2:07.76. So Connell, just keep a reference of the pace that he makes in comparison to those we expect around him. Ross Rizzo hasn't done his first flying lap yet. He's on that lap post pit stop. Same with Guy Leach and with Joshua Fit. So looking to see their speed. The gap between Fit and Heimgartner closed up during the pit stops as well, as Matty Cartaglione has had an incident as well. Just jump back and see if we can grab that quickly.
Huge incident. Big one coming down here into turn number 5. It looks like he's just got caught at the back there and spun him around there. So that would have been
might have been Maverick Benson, or maybe
it was Maverick Benson, so just got caught and spun him into the wall. Big damage into the front of that BMW, so that is devastating for him. That's a big disaster, as Connell has come into pit lane.
Yeah, Connell doing his pit stops now, so see where he comes back out in the mix, thinking that he's going to be probably around 6th or 7th position by the time he gets back out of pit lane. That wing repair obviously will not take very long, so Ross Rizzo will resume the lead of this race as they make their way around the final corner now and heading up the hill. Connor will get the benefit of a shorter stop though, with that extra fuel that he was able to get. Just keeping an eye on the full stationary pit time for him here. When's he going to head off? So 10 seconds, so he was 2.5 seconds faster than Ross Rizzo in the pit lane, as well as being a good half a second faster than everyone in between. It looks like he's going to re-emerge in 5th position.
Yeah, that's a real shame. That spin has cost him dearly. A rare thing we see from Jeff Connell, making a mistake like that, and it just shows that Road America is ready to bite even the best of us. It's not an easy circuit to drive. It's one of those tracks that it's a proper old classic track where, you know, if you make a mistake, you do pay for it. But if you give it respect and you just manage to make everything work, it is such a rewarding track to drive. But you get 1 millimeter too wide on the exit, and it is all over.
So we're sub 10 minutes here, and Guy Leach, Joshua Fit, this battle under a second here. So this is just 2nd and 3rd. Andre Heimgartner is closing down behind them. Jeff Connell not too far behind them either. Maverick Benson, Paul Mansell. There's half a second between the two Injectors Online Racing Team cars too. So plenty to play out here. Jordan Boys and Matty Cartaglione in that slightly rearranged BMW there. They're battling out for 9th and 10th position. So plenty to see in this remaining 9 minutes as we close down this second mini-enduro in the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series Season 3.
Yeah, it's really getting quite close right now between Cartaglione and Jordan Boyce. So Cartaglione is, I think he's got the bit between his teeth at the moment, and is just frustrated with that incident, just absolutely driving with a little bit of the old red mist in front of his eyes, just giving him a couple of extra tenths of a second on track as well. It's not always the best thing, because sometimes it can force you into a mistake, but occasionally when the red mist descends, it can make you much quicker, even with a damaged car. So he is really doing a great job with that slightly banged up Beamer. It's definitely not showroom condition. You're not going to get your deposit back when you take it out tonight to the dealership, but he is really putting pressure on Jordan Boys at the moment, who is running up there in 9th place at the moment. Good first race effort from him. One of those drivers, you know, it's tricky when you race full metal cars as well as sim cars, because you get that expectation on you, but he's had a good solid result here. Very different skill sets, of course, very different cars as well, but doing a great job out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was just going to show here, Mike Case and Daniel Webster. We might just quickly jump back to that, as we've had Joshua Fit close right up on the back of Guy Leach here. I think there may have been a small little grab there for Leach through the first 2 corners, as that gap closed right down from about 3/4 of a second. So Guy Leach, Joshua Fit still battling here as they head up under the bridge, the Corvette bridge, and Ferrari's obviously equal in car, so this is a true driver battle here. As you can see, that bright orange Mercedes-Benz closing in on this battle too. So we said it was going to get tight right towards the end of the race here, and they are giving us just that. This is 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Guy Leach, Joshua Fit, Andre Heimgartner battling away. Ross Rizzo out in front, 3 seconds to the good. So it is on here for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And then Jeff Connell still about 4 seconds away from the back of this pack.
Yeah, Jeff Connell, it's a sort of really struggling a little bit down there, and just as I said, frustration will come into it a little bit as well. You know, when you make it.
Heimgartner right out, just testing the durability of the pit sign, the DRS sign, I should say. He hung that one right out to dry. We'll try and bring you a replay of that. I'm not sure again how he held on to that one. Sorry to cut you off there.
We've seen a few mega saves tonight.
Have a go at this.
That is a very sketchy moment. I've got to say, the Connell moment is still up there for me, but that would have been really holding on, and maybe track limits will get looked up there as well. It might just be slightly past track limits. Beautiful thing about grass, though, is you don't really gain time on it.
No, but equally, ice skating at 260k an hour is not that fun.
No, it's not. It's not an enjoyable experience. It's a very scary experience, especially going through that section of track, because it is so easy for everything to go wrong there. Guy Leach doing a great defensive job right now ahead of Joshua Fitt. The Ferrari battle is going on right now, but Guy Leach is doing a brilliant job of just positioning that car at exactly the worst possible place for Joshua Fitt. So he's doing a good job of defending and just keeping that car right in the middle of the track, just so Joshua Fitt can't really go up and under. So he's going to have to try and force Guy Leach into making a bit of a mistake here. Just hope he grabs a brake, goes a little bit wide, because he has got to put the pressure on to get this pass done, because at the moment Guy Leach is just keeping that car right in the middle of the track where you can't overtake it.
We've got 5 minutes to go here, the 5-minute warning at the end of this race. It hasn't been a quiet one by any stretch of the imagination. I can't believe it's almost over already. We've got 5 minutes to go here, and we're on board with Guy Leach as he is defending from Joshua Fitt. Andre Heimgartner closing down on him. There's battles everywhere. We'll just jump back quickly to Paul Mansell and Maverick Benson. There's half a second between these two teammates.
Daniel Webster, Mike Casey, and Richard Brookfield at the moment as well. If we jump to them, it's almost three abreast here as they come up to turn number 6. They were 3 wide coming down the Moraine sweep as well. So these guys are really, really pressing hard. I was just looking at my timing screen and wondering what was going on. I thought it was a fault, but no, it was because these guys were passing each other constantly down the straight there. So there is some serious battles going on through the pack still.
I don't think that Casey and Brookfield have been apart this entire race. They've been battling. Daniel Webster's joined the fray with them. Mike Casey's still our biggest mover of the race, up 10 positions. And as you see there, those three just battling away. This is for positions 13th, 14th and 15th, as we've got under 4 minutes to go now. And they're heading through there, just grabbing a little bit of grass. You can see some damage there on the back of Brookfield's car, but not affecting him too much. In fact, no, my apologies, that is not damage at all. And Daniel Webster here just getting a little bit of breathing space ahead of Casey and Brookfield, who are right on top of one another. So half a second, 3 tenths between them there. It is the same up at the front here as well. So just keep on with Casey for a second. And we're going to jump back to Guy Leach and Joshua Fitt as that battle narrows extremely.
Yeah, the battle's all the way through the field at the moment. Guy Leach has managed to pull out a little bit of a gap for a few moments. He had a little bit of a gap for a couple of laps, goes a little bit wide there on the exit of turn 5, which is going to allow Andre Heimgartner to go down on Joshua Fitt and make the move. He's going to try the up and under. Will Joshua Fitt make it past? No, he doesn't. Andre Heimgartner taking that position with authority, making that move up through turn number 6, a place where you're quite tricky to do that, but a great little move done there. Will he be able to catch up to Guy Leach and put the same move on him? Well,
he's only got 2 minutes 45 left to do that. Now that that's done, let's jump back here to Mansell and Benson, where the battle has closed up again between these two teammates. 3 tenths between them. They're battling away. Daniel Webster, Mike Casey, and Brookfield has closed up again. There's a 10th. Oh, as he runs wide, Mike Casey. So he's let Richard Brookfield through. That's a change for position. Brookfield now up into 14th. He'll be really dirty with himself. Casey just running too deep down into the braking zone and not quite able to get that Ferrari pulled up. So that's dropped him to 15th. Daniel Webster's got some breathing room there. You can see there just a gap opening up of about a second between the two. And that was a change for position in 14th and 15th.
Yeah, that was just that little moment of mistake, and we've seen it creep into a few drivers tonight. It's just happened a few times this evening, and it's unfortunate when it does, and you just kick yourself afterwards because it just was so close at the moment. even after a nice long endurance race like this, it is still so very close at the moment.
So we've missed at the start here somehow, and that is a terrible, terrible piece of, it's a bit unfortunate, I should say, is probably the right way to put it. Somehow we've missed out here. Ross Rizzo is right back under pressure. In fact, we've got a battle here for the lead of the race. This will be the last lap of the race. It's Ross Rizzo, Guy Leach, and Andre Heimgartner all within cooee of one another. Ross Rizzo may have saved fuel, may not have saved enough fuel here. He is under the pump. In fact, there is going to be a change for the lead here. He may be running out of fuel. He's defending very, very hard here down into turn 5. That Ferrari is all over him here. And also Andre Heimgartner coming through as well as Leach runs wide. Heimgartner's going to get the move down again here as he did on Joshua Fitt. He moves up into second position. He's going to eat this up. I think he's going to have Ross Rizzo for lunch at partway through this lap. Is he low on fuel in the BMW? I suspect so. He is going very, very slowly indeed. Last lap around 2:08.57. Andre Heimgartner closing in on him as we're halfway through the final lap of this race. Can you believe it? After 70 minutes of running, with 40 seconds to go, and we are still challenged for the lead of this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was very tricky because you didn't really notice it on the timing screens, and then all of a sudden look up and Ross Rizzo has got these guys behind him, and they haven't gotten looking to make the move. Ross Rizzo is definitely low on fuel. He's really struggling as Guy Leach gets off on the corner there. He makes it back on track. He does a Andre Heimgartner there as well, but Heimgartner is going to have to make the attempt down the outside here. He's got down the outside. They're side by side, little bit of contact. Heimgartner's managed to catch the car. He's going to make it. He's just got to get the car accelerating here. They are side by side still, and he makes it.
Leach!
Guy Leach and Ross Rizzo make contact.
Oh, they're off on the inside there, and that has given it the dummy pass to Joshua Fitt. Jeff Connell's going to finish in third position. I reckon there might be a penalty handed out of this one, but unbelievable there as Guy Leach. Ross Rizzo came into contact, and what a finish. It is going to be Andre Heimgartner who's going to take the win here. Congratulations, Andre, on your first win in the series. Joshua Fitt finally makes a podium. Congratulations to him. And Jeff Connell just pops up there right at the end like he normally does in third position. What an unbelievable race.
That was a very, very tight finish there, and really unfortunate for Ross Rizzo. He must have just got calculations just that little bit wrong. He had done a couple more laps than some of the other guys around him. And he'd done 7 laps on that stint, so I reckon he just didn't take enough fuel. He just underfueled it by just a couple of litres, and that was enough to cost him the race. And then just getting caught up there with, unfortunate for him and Guy Leach as well. Guy Leach having a great run up there until that point. And then that big incident costing those two a lot of positions.
My goodness me, I don't think we've seen a mini-enduro finish in quite that fashion before across the probably 100 or I don't know how many broadcasts we've done, but to come down to that last lap, obviously the BMW of Rizzo coughed right on that last lap. He knew he had to manage fuel. He dropped about 4 seconds out in front. We weren't even paying attention to him battling, looking too much at the battle behind, and my goodness, did that play out a little bit different to the way I was expecting it to on that last lap.
Yeah, it snuck up on us. I'm just going back and having a look, and basically it just sort of they just caught up on him. They just started catching up on him hand over fist, and it just must have been saving from Rizzo, and it wasn't the sort of pace where you notice it straight away on the timing screens when you're looking at other things. So very tricky to notice, and then all of a sudden glanced over, and he had a pack of cars right behind him. He was lifting and coasting that car and just trying to get it through as close as possible. It was very, very tricky for him. So yeah, really unfortunate. They just underfueled it that tiny bit and couldn't get it to work this time round.
Well, I don't know what to say. Just waiting here for the top 3 drivers to jump into the commentary box. So just waiting on Joshua Fitt and Jeff Connell to join us. In fact, Jeff's done his usual. Jeff has a key to the commentary box. In fact, just lets himself in as he sees fit. And he's just done that again tonight. They're just snuck in the back door. Jeff, welcome to the booth. Andre, likewise, congratulations on your result. We're just waiting on Josh Fitt to jump in as well. So, Jeff, we might start with you in the Batmobile, just making your way up onto the grid again as you like. I'm not sure if there'll be a post-race investigation into the second and third place then. Obviously nothing to do with yourselves, but let's not focus on that for the minute. A small mistake there, uncharacteristic of you. Just saw you duck off onto the infield. You managed to grab an extra lap of fuel across the stint, and aside of that, you would have been right up the front fighting with the boys.
Yeah, fuel and everything was good. Just a dumb mistake. Like, just got distracted by a lap car, and that ruined the race. So, yeah, that was a pity. That cost me about 9 seconds, and I came out of the pits 9 seconds behind Ross after that last stop. So I would have been right in that battle, which would have been fun. But, yeah, just lucky to get a podium anyway with those few guys coming off. But, yeah, it was probably still a decent result after starting 8th. But, yeah, just spewing I wasn't in that battle at the end.
Yeah, not your usual qualifying from you either. Obviously, the additional weight penalty to the Mercedes, how did that figure into things this week?
Oh, it didn't help, but Andre still qualified a lot better than me. I got screwed over on a good lap by a guy that wasn't on a lap, and that cost me a few tenths, but even then it would have only put me probably 5th or 6th in qualifying, and Andre was 2nd or 3rd. So, yeah, it definitely hurt the Merc on the straight. Like, it was near impossible to drag race a Ferrari, but, yeah, as you can see by the results, it's not too bad. I think the cars were still fairly even, like they have been the whole series. So, yeah, they've done a good job with the parity.
Actually, now you mentioned it's something that we hadn't quite noticed in all the finishing goings on, that Ferrari's occupying 6 of the top 10 positions. 5 of the top 10 positions. So that adjustment certainly helping with only 2 Mercs and 3 BMWs with the balance. So, in fact, those numbers don't add up whatsoever. But there were 2 Mercs and 2 BMWs to bring us up to 10. But so yeah, it certainly made a little bit of a difference to the way everything ran at the front of the field. But still, a strong result for you. That'll retain the lead for you in the championship as we conclude this leg of the journey. So congratulations on running it back up and jumping into 3rd at the end of the race.
Yeah, thanks. It was just a bit lucky to get the 3rd there at the end. And the only bad thing about that, it'll actually hurt our weight for the next round with Andre winning and me 3rd and the only BMW up the front getting taken out. That'll actually hurt us even more. But anyway, that's how it is. They've done a great job so far. So, yeah, it should be all good.
We're in the Dallara next, so that's just for our the Pro-Am round. So that's going to be an interesting challenge, but it'll certainly be there for you in week 2 of the next leg. But congratulations as usual. I know you run the Batmobile. We call it that because there's nothing on it. But anyone you want to thank?
No sponsors, but thanks to you guys for a great broadcast. Thanks to Sam and Matt and everyone that runs it. Put on an awesome series, and it showed there again. 70-minute race. There was 5 or 6 guys that could have won that. So you don't get that in many series, especially GT3. So, yeah, well done to those guys. They're doing awesome. And also the guys that sponsor the series. So Sim Rigs, FGM Cast, Bridgestone Tyre Centre, HJ Plant Repairs. Not sure if I'm forgetting any of them, but, yeah, it's been good fun.
You've finally got onto the podium this season in the Ferrari, and first Ferrari to do so, so well done.
Thank you very much. I've had a bit of a shocker racing this year, or this season, but qualified pretty well, so it's good to put a race together, I guess, but it's unfortunate sort of finish to the other guys up the front, but it was exciting all the same. But yeah, I had a bit of fun out there with Lee, I think it was, towards the end. But yeah, it was a good race.
Obviously, a much stronger performance from the Ferraris here with those couple of adjustments. It's sort of been dialing in over the last few rounds with the way the admin run the series and the changes that they make. Did you find here that it was a lot easier to keep up with the others in a straight line, or improve the car's performance through the corners where you might have struggled in the past?
Yeah, I think in a straight line, it definitely probably had a bit of an advantage over the other cars, but I always find in the Ferrari it's hard to put the power down coming out of the corner. I guess with the way the torque or the power is delivered, it sort of becomes a bit laggy, and then it comes on boost or power pretty hard, and it sort of lights them up pretty easily. So it's going to be a little bit smoother on the power, but it's probably my driving style that's sort of more of an issue than, I guess, the parity between the cars, because the guys have done such a great job doing it. It's all pretty even out there, I think.
Yeah, it can be an issue there if you jump on the throttle or get a little bit aggressive, that it lights them up. But the Ferrari did fine. We found last week that the Ferrari took a little while to come on in the cooler conditions. Did you find as it got later in the stint after your stops that you struggled for that initial period in the Ferrari?
I almost sort of found the opposite. Sort of once coming out of the pits, it sort of, I don't know if the tyres cooled down or something, but it definitely behaved a lot nicer for those next couple of laps. But then as the stint went on, the front's got a bit hot and sort of understeered, especially through the longer sweeping corners. But it's pretty well balanced, I guess, throughout the whole race.
And obviously, we saw you had a number of good battles throughout the evening. Any highlights for you?
Just the closest to racing. I think this series is testament to the people that sort of run it, along with the people that race it, because it's clean, it's pretty hard. You always have a good battle out there with somebody, so it's always a lot of fun. I couldn't highlight sort of one pinpoint, but overall it's just good fun, close racing, and everyone gives plenty of room and races hard, but it's always fun, so I appreciate all that.
Fantastic, and as always, just a call out to any sponsors or anyone you want to thank?
Nah, no one for me, just the guys for putting it on and making it all happen every week. I really appreciate it.
Oh, fantastic, Josh. Congratulations on second place, and hopefully we'll see a bit more of it as we head into the third leg. And as we jump on now to Andre, congratulations, first win of the season in that very bright orange Mercedes-Benz. A good recovery from you as well. Obviously, a little bit of an incident early on probably halfway through the race, but managed to recover it through with that great pass on the last lap.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be on. Unfortunately, the trading paint doesn't work, and so it's meant to be a Sim Rigs livery. But anyway, yeah, really, really good races. Obviously got taken out, which is not ideal. But yeah, it's always fun coming back from then, and to have last lap battles like that, it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, got right. We weren't even, to be brutally honest, paying attention to Ross at the front of the pack. He was sort of 3 seconds to the good when we came into about 3 minutes to go. We knew he was going to get another lap in after the one he was on, and then all of a sudden, you guys were right on the back of him. So obviously running a little bit shy on fuel. He was gaining about a second each fuel stop, so running a little lighter than you guys needed to. But I think ultimately that probably cost him in the end.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure. He obviously was trying to save fuel at the end, but yeah, it was interesting. Different fuel strategies the longer race brought out, and had to look after your tyres and stuff. It was pretty gnarly at the end there, so we're just sort of good to get to the end, but very interesting. I think the cars are pretty even at the moment. I've raced in a few different series, and this one's pretty good. There's not much arguing and stuff that goes on. It's pretty enjoyable to race in. So yeah, looking forward to hopefully racing next week if I'm around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do need to correct, Ross has just jumped into the chat. He said he had no fuel issues, just the tyres had dropped to 34%, and he just had no grip, so he just couldn't do a lot in that last lap. So echoing your comments there in terms of looking after the tyres towards the end of the stint. We'll get that livery fixed up for next week, so simrigs.com obviously on the car there. I've just reloaded it. It's still coming up orange, so we'll get that fixed up before hopefully you join us for the IndyCar run. Obviously, anyone that you want to thank?
Obviously, just Sim Rigs. They run their full rigs, so some magic wheel, their pedals, all the stuff. So it's good stuff. It won the race, so go buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So good call out there for simrigs.com, of course, a partner of the stream as well. We'll give everyone a quick rundown in a minute. So obviously, congratulations, Andre, on your first win for the season and taking out the mini-enduro here at the end of this second leg of the Aus Pro-Am Sim Series. Thanks for running and congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
So as you heard there from Andre, simrigs.com, just a quick rundown of the sponsors. We didn't get a gap in the middle like we normally do tonight with the Enduro, so Simrigs jumping on board with the series, and certainly if you're looking for any gear, go there and see them for a rig or wheels, pedals. They basically can kit you out with everything you need other than a computer, but that's good because we've got you sorted there too. 93PC, a partner of the series as well. In fact, Sam, who owns 93PC, runs in the series and is well and truly aware of what you need to get a sim PC built or a gaming PC built. So jump on board and support them. Bridgestone Select, of course, jumping on board as HJ Plant Repairs as well, our main initial sponsor for this series from when it first started. Hayden's a participant and has supported the series from the start, so a big shout out to him as well. Before we get too much further, you note across the top of the screen there that we do have a little note to John and Wayne regarding the Cancer Council and prostate checks. We talk about it every week. There's no shame in it. Go and get yourself checked if you have any problems. We as blokes, majority of us here are blokes, terrible at looking after our health, and it's something that can cost you your life. So if you've got a niggle, if you've got an itch, if you've got a scratch, go and see the doctor if you need to. There's nothing embarrassing about it. 2 minutes or a minute of discomfort might save your life. So go and get yourself checked out. It's a very important message that we carry here on the series, and we'll probably carry into next season as well. So, Carl, I'm not generally short of a word, but my goodness me, that finish there, just about the best I think I've seen.
Yeah, that was one heck of a closing lap, and as you probably tell by the volume that went up in my voice, it was quite exciting as well. Very exciting last couple of moments to that race. It was very, very close there at the end, and we saw some incredible saves as well going through the kink earlier on as well. With Andre Humgartner and Jeff Connell as well. Both those two just saves of the race as well, going through that section. I do not know how they managed to keep those cars on the track. But what a great race. And again, close race as well. We saw all the different manufacturers up there. We saw different strengths and weaknesses come into play once more, which is what we want to see in GT racing. It's what it's all about. It's not about having, all the same cars on the track at the same time. We want differences between them. And we got that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys have done another great job in getting this one all put together.
Yeah, very much so. And as you can tell with the drivers as well, they were just all saying, very, very close between everything there, and it all worked out incredibly well too. So we've got the last leg coming up, of course, the final couple of races, and we were told earlier on as well about that one for the last leg as well. There's a little bit of an announcement for that one, isn't there, Stuart?
Yeah, absolutely. So just brought up on the screen there, the last leg of this 3-leg series is actually going to have a 4-round mini championship. So it does start the 11th of May, which is next Tuesday evening. The first of those legs is at Monza, where it is a Dallara DW12 that is going to be insane to watch at Monza. That's the first race, followed by Long Beach and Nürburgring in our usual formats. In fact, Nürburgring there is the sprint round, a 20-minute, 40-minute at the 24-hour layout. So that's going to be interesting. That'll be about 2.5 laps, maybe 3 laps for the first race, and around about that. So, Carl, you will get to test your knowledge of the Nürburgring corner names, just arcing back to earlier on in the coverage, and we will finish out on the 1st of June. My goodness, man, I can't believe we're already talking about the 1st of June at Spa with a 70-minute enduro. I'm really looking forward to that one. Another one of my very favourite tracks. Long Beach is going to be interesting. It's going to be pretty tight there.
Yeah, Long Beach street track, very, very different circuit to what we've seen. That's going to be a very, very different race. Monza with Indy cars. Unfortunately, there'll be no banking involved, but oh boy, that's going to be some serious fun. And of course, finishing up in Spa, as you say, your favourite track, my favourite track. I think a lot of people's favourite track, Spa. Definitely a circuit that I almost know like the back of my hand. So that one looking forward to as well. I might need a few more throat lozenges for the 25th of May though.
Yeah, well, I mean, if tonight's anything to go by, there's every chance that we'll be absolutely hoarse by the end of the season, and we'll need a couple of weeks off. But of course, that unfortunately will not, or fortunately will not happen for us. There's a couple of things coming up that we want to bring to everyone's attention. Obviously, on Thursday night, we will be returning to Anscar for the next instalment of the Cup, and that is coming to you from Darlington for 135 laps there as we get back into the swing of things on a Thursday night with the Cup. We haven't had a break there, actually, and we're about another week out from the resumption of the AUSPASS Truck Series, which will resume later in the still early in the month, because it's only early in May, but towards the middle of May. But there was an announcement from AUSPASS over the weekend as well, Carl, and that's something we've been holding on to for a little while now, but it is coming to FGM eCast on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, what I was about to say to you, Stuart, our 10th of May is Pocono, so the trucks are back next week, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
We're on the 4th of May, aren't we? Yeah.
Have we already had a week off?
Yeah, that's it. We
Oh, my
don't
goodness.
get any rest. What are you talking about? Commentators don't get a chance to relax. So the trucks will be at Pocono next Monday. So the first race of season 2 for the trucks Pocono, the triangle, the Devil's Triangle. I just like Pocono, but a lot of people love it. But Thunder is back for AUSPASS. The Xfinity Series is back and ready to roar back to life on May the 12th. So that will be starting up again. If you're looking to get into oval racing and sort of start yourself in sort of getting used to things, getting used to that, the Xfinity cars are a car to do it in. They're a bit different to the trucks, of course, because they're a bit more of a standard stock car. So they're a bit between the Cup car and the trucks. Very cool racing series. Going to be extremely exciting on the Wednesday nights. Going to be starting off at Dover for 150 laps on May the 12th. So if you're looking to have some fun in oval racing, make sure to come and join us for that. So Wednesday night Thunder is back. And of course, we do have the trucks as well. So those two series available to everybody to start coming in. Make sure to put your applications, go onto the Facebook page for AUSPASS for details about that as well. A lot of good drivers in there and some great chances for people as well. It's a really good opportunity if you do want to start some oval racing and want some good close action as well. And it's just nice to say that Thunder is back. Of course, Thunder was the original series back in the day, back before the Cup and things like that. So it's good to be back home.
Yeah, absolutely, and that sort of forms then that mid-level series between the trucks and the Cup series as well. So opportunity for you to sort of learn and progress through, which is what AUSPASS is really good at, is supporting drivers on making their way through. Plenty of advice given whether you want it or not. Plenty of advice given to the drivers there to help them improve, and I do jest. They guys are pretty good at helping anyone who wants to learn and improve to do so, and providing this step series is just part of that. And thanks to Vision Sim Images there for putting together that cover photo for us as well, or for the guys at AUSPASS. Appreciate it. So big shout out to them as well for their contribution. So we'll get that off the screen there. And of course, last but not least, we do want to talk about is June 10th, just over a month away. We do have Prelude to the Dream running, which is the culmination of a 12-hour stream we're going to be doing on Thursday, the 10th of June, and that will be coming to you live on FGM eCast. There'll be plenty of things there, as we do try and raise money for a family in need looking to raise money to buy a mobility vehicle that they need for their daughter. Again, we'll have more about that on the stream, but here a $5 entry, I believe it is, Carl, will get you into this race. You don't have to be an AUSPASS member to do it, and we're heading to the 10th of June very quickly. So if you're wanting to get in on that one, jump again on the AUSPASS Facebook page. They've very generously supported our cause, and we're looking to fill as many heats in that as we can. I think at the moment we're up to 4 or maybe 5 heats so far, so it is filling. So get in where you can, jump on AUSPASS Facebook page and find out how you can join that one.
Yeah, exactly. Pro dirt late models. Even we could eventually get the right word soup out there. Eldora Speedway, so a fantastic place to drive. If you've never had the opportunity to give it a go, well worth it for the fun. It is something special taking these cars out. They are designed for it as well, so they are incredibly fun to drive, and it is for such a good cause as well.
And that's about it. Tuesday evening, done and dusted. What an exciting one. So for those of you who missed it, it was Andre Homegartner who took home the win, just in front of Joshua Fitt and Jeff Connell. Some last lap shenanigans as well. So it was a very tight last lap after 70 minutes of racing here at Road America, and that does close out leg 2. We will be back with Aus Pro-Am Sim Series next Tuesday night. Of course, before we get there, the Cup on Thursday. Do join us from about 8 o'clock, where that one will kick off. We'll be online from 8 o'clock anyway. It should be Dave and Carl if Dave's back. Otherwise, it will be the trio of us bringing it to you. So make sure you're back. If you have followed us or joined the broadcast tonight, thank you very much for your support, and we will see you again on Thursday night. Carl, thank you for your participation tonight as well.
As always, you're welcome, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you very much.